Jaylen, you mentioned earlier in the preseason that you worked on your blocking. What was it exactly that you worked on in that regard, and why was that a point of emphasis for you?
I just worked on getting my hands inside and making solid contact with defenders. I think that was one area that I really needed to improve on as far as the last season.
Over to Ryan Hennessy.
Sorry. Heading home this week, how important is it? Do you kind of have a message to the fans that they need to come out, even though Bryant Denny won't be as full as possible, that they need to make maybe extra noise?
Accent. How would it affect us?
Yeah. Go ahead and repeat your question, Ryan.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. What's the importance of the fans this week coming home? And obviously they're going to be 20% capacity, so Bryant Denny won't be as loud, but they got to kind of make it count, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to having the same home game feel as usual. It's very Bryant Denny is a very tough place to play, so we still want to have that effect on other teams.
We'll go over to Tony Sakalas.
Yeah, can you take us through that catch over the middle where you kind of like jumped over two people? What's going through your head during that one?
Oh well, I kind of can see the defender through my eye, so I kind of braced up a little bit, so I kind of seen him and I jumped. So I was like, that's pretty much it.
Stephen Smith.
Hey, Jaylen, John Mechie had a couple of catches in the game. What is something that he brings that not too many people know about, but it's really good? John Mechie.
Well, Mech is he got some sneaky speed to him, so I think if the defender don't latch on to him, he's really getting out of there. And then he also had another in breaking route that I thought he was gonna get out of, but Mech he created a lot of space, especially coming out of his route. So I really think he's gonna get his chance to showcase his speed in due time.
Michael Casagrande, over to you.
Jaylen, just wonder, are you hearing any of this Heisman hype? You're getting some early Heisman hype for the work you've done. Like, what's your reaction to that? Do you think that's possible?
Nah, I actually haven't heard nothing about that. So I kind of don't look into that type of stuff.
John Zener. Oops, here, just a minute. Go and unmute yourself again.
All right. Jaylen, was there any extra, knowing that maybe you were going to get some chances, extra chances, more targets this year, was there any, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Was there any different level of focus, any different level of excitement for you personally coming to this, knowing you'll probably get targeted more?
Is there any pressure?
Any more excitement or focus, knowing you're probably going to get targeted more?
Well, I think the game set and my game set was kind of the same. Obviously I got to see the field a little more than usual. So I think, but my focus and excitement was the same as any other game.
Over to James Ogletree.
Yeah, Jaylen, Coach Saban was just talking about how you expanded your game to not be just a slot receiver, that you can play a lot of those other positions. With your size, is there anything that you have to keep in mind if you're playing outside? Do you have to play that any differently?
No, I know that the space that I get is limited. They can get more hands-on, so just being more aware and using more releases that we practice on day by day. So I think that's more what you have to do when you're an outside receiver.
Go ahead, Dennis Dodd.
Jaylen, just wondered if it seemed like a road game with less people in the stands, and what was it like just getting ready for that game where it wasn't typically, as crowded and as hyped as it usually is?
Well, it was really different. It wasn't as packed and as loud as away games normally are. But I think it was a great, spacing wise, how they had it spaced out. They definitely had a good crowd there.
Jeff Spiegel.
Yeah, Jaylen, can you talk about the catch that you made over the middle that you made through contact, and then the throw that Mac made where he took a big hit and then threw a perfect strike to you? What did those plays do for a team at that moment?
Well, I think that they gave us a spark in the offense and created a big play. Got us a great field position. And as far as Mac a very tough guy, so I really expect him to stay in there and take a little pounding to deliver a good ball.
We have time for two more. Christopher Walsh, go ahead.
Two things, please, but before I do, how's your butt?
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay. First off, how have the new strength coaches helped you in terms of your speed? And second, how much of an advantage is it having another wide receiver in the field like Devonta to really challenge the defenses?
Far as the strength coaches, I think Baloo and Ray do a good job. Far as the speed focused part, they really focus on what you need to work on, and areas of that. And what was the second question? Sorry.
How much does it help you having another wide receiver like Devonta on the field?
Oh well, Smitty. I know Smitty is going to do his job. He's very reliable, and they have to be accountable for him. So it's always helpful that you have another playmaker, and we have so many more playmakers. So it's just great having them out there.
And we'll do last question for Jaylen with Haley Sutton.
Hey, Jaylen. Coach Saban talked a lot about being really happy with the first half effort, but then seeing some things that needed to improve in the second. I'm just curious what you saw in the second that maybe needs to be improved on before y'all get back on the field Saturday.
Well, I think the energy that we bring, the same energy that we brought in the first half, we got to bring it and finish with the same energy. It don't matter the scoreboard. Can't look at them type of things. So I think that's what really needs to change.
Christian, how hard is it to stop a quarterback like Mac Jones that moves so well in the pocket? Just what are the challenges of doing that?
You talking about like in practice on like a day-to-day
basis? Yeah,
basis?
in practice. But just as a linebacker in general, stopping a quarterback that can do that.
I mean, Mac Jones is a great quarterback. Every single day he presents a lot of challenges for our defense. When you're blitzing off the edge, he somehow sees you coming from the side. He'll scramble. So you got to make sure not to push up too far to the field if you're blitzing and you're supposed to be the contained player. Even if he's sitting in the pocket, he can sit in the pocket and take hits and make big throws all day. So, I mean, seeing what Mac does in the game doesn't necessarily surprise me because, we see it every day in practice, so it's kind of expected. So.
Over to Edwin.
Hey, Kristen, can you talk a little bit about your maturation from season 2 to season 1? Looks like you looking pretty good out there. Just talk about your confidence and what you're seeing out there.
I do feel a lot more confident out there on the field now than I did last year. I think a lot of that has to do with, the playbook. I feel a lot more comfortable playing now. Having Dylan Moses next to me, it kind of gives everybody on the defense a little bit of confidence. And, because, he makes all the calls for me. I just got to go out there and play football like I've been doing since I was 5. So, it makes things a lot easier for me. And, like I said, I feel a lot more confident. I can play fast and just show people what I can really do.
Stephen Smith, go ahead.
Hey, Christian, Malachi Moore got the start over the weekend. Just what did you see from him as a young player in the secondary, just making plays out there?
Malachi's a great player. I've been talking to him since he, moved in the summer. I talk to him every single day. He was, he might have had a little penalty earlier in the game, but like I said, you got to talk to him on the sidelines. Let him know next play you can't let the negative play affect you. On the next play, just continue to be confident, play with confidence, make sure you're communicating, and we'll all be fine. And I think he went out there and did a great job. So.
John Zener, go ahead.
Yeah, Kristen, I don't know how often you've tried to tackle Jaylen Waddle or get to Jaylen Waddle on open field in practice, but But what kind of challenge do you kind of feel for those guys when you see them in games in open field, trying to bring them down?
I mean, I think when Jaylen Waddle gets the ball and he's in open space, everybody on the sideline starts to pay attention. I mean, because it's the fastest dude I've ever seen. There's times he leaves me in practice and there's nothing I could do about it. I even take an angle and he just takes off. But I mean, it's ridiculous, like I said. But we have so many great guys in our offense, and they do this stuff every single day in practice. So whenever it comes to the game, I'm not necessarily surprised. It's more, expected to see those guys do what they do.
Over to James Ogletree.
Yeah, Christian, you mentioned communication a little bit and how much having Dylan back helps that. I just wanted your overall assessment of how the defense communicated from you guys to the front with the secondary and just getting on the same page. And then you were named the Defensive Player of the Week by the coaches, and just wanted to know how you felt like you played in the season opener.
Well, as a team, as a front seven, I feel like we did pretty good with communication. I think, we might have had a couple of misassignments. But, like I said, we're going to go back on that this week and look at it and try to fix it and prepare for A&M this week so we don't make as many mistakes as we did last game. I think in the first half we did pretty good, but, we didn't really finish in the second half, and that's something Coach really wants to, focus on, especially not giving up any points in the fourth quarter. That's something, we really strive on. So it was a little bit of a disappointment in us, but like I said, we're going to bounce back with it next week. And as far as being the player of the week or whatever it is, I mean, that's cool. I don't really pay attention to stuff like that. All I do is try to go out and execute Coach's game plan and do whatever I can to put my team in the best position to be successful. So if awards come with that, then that's so be it. But I just do what I can for the team.
Over to Haley Sutton.
Hey, Christian, I was just curious what it was like to have Dylan back on the field and to see him performing kind of back at that level that he was at, what your thoughts were playing with him.
It was pretty amazing. Like I said, I played with Dylan in high school, and it's crazy to see how he hasn't really changed as a player ever in his life. I mean, Dylan just is relentless, going 100% regardless of what's going on. I mean, like I said, we talked about it after the game. I mean, just how crazy it was, just being that two dudes from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, growing up with each other, getting to play against each other. I mean, with each other against another team, at this high level, it was a blessing. So, yeah, it's really nice having him back out there.
Jeff Spiegel, go ahead.
Christian, it will be a typical Alabama home opener. The stadium capacity, won't be full. What do you anticipate that being like, and how, as a player, do you have to just create your own energy out there because there aren't as many fans to get behind you?
I think, being a football player, regardless if there's fans or no fans, I mean, when you get to compete against another team, that's another opportunity for you to show the world what you can do. And regardless if there's fans or not, I mean, that's just, like I said, it's just another opportunity that you want to take advantage of. I think, having fans out there is going to help 100%. I love our fans. Having people out there is the greatest experience I've ever had. But I think as a player, not really having that many fans, I think when you're competitive, like I said, it's not really playing a factor in the way that you play.
We're going to finish up with the last question. Back to Edwin.
Hey, Christian, can you talk a little bit about Will Anderson and his first game? And did you give him any kind of advice about getting that first start as a freshman?
Yeah, Will's a great player. I talk to him every day as well. The only advice I really gave him was just to, football it's the same game you've been playing since you was a little kid. Don't make it seem like it's anything bigger than it really is, and he went out there and did a great job. Of course, there's some stuff we're going to have to work on. Him, himself, me, myself, as a team, we all have to work on, but we're going to handle that this week and get ready for this weekend.